Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hey, I'm Tharisa. I'm a student of Stage Islamic University of Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang, majoring in biology. This video was made to complete my final exam in History of Islamic Civilization. Without any further ado, let's get started. 1. Explain how the main foundation that the Prophet laid down in building Islamic civilization. Explain in detail each point and how is it relevant to our lives today. The answer is, the Islamic civilization built by Prophet Muhammad went through a process that was not easy. The beginning of Prophet Muhammad began to build Islamic civilization when the Prophet Muhammad migrated to Medina. The hijrah was carried out to avoid threats from the Quraysh. Therefore, the Messenger of Allah invited his people to immigrate to Medina. Arriving in Medina, Prophet Muhammad applied several foundations as a basis for spreading revelation. The first foundation is the Theological Foundation. The Theological Foundation occurred when after Prophet Muhammad arrived in Medina, and Prophet Muhammad immediately built a mosque. The mosque is used as a means of worship and social activities in Medina. The second foundation is the foundation of morality, which is applied through behavior in the form of honest behavior and mutual love for one another. The last foundation is the Socio-Political Foundation, in the form of social order and its constitution. The principle carried out on this foundation is deliberation as a medium for channeling opinions. Another principle applied by Prophet Muhammad is the principle of justice to make public policy. I think some of the foundation that Prophet Muhammad did are still relevant to be applied today. Examples that can be drawn from this foundation are that as humans, we must draw closer to Allah through worship and stay away from all prohibitions. We must behave and speak the truth in all situations, and we must also be fair in making decisions that can be made through deliberation. 2. Explain what changes Prophet Muhammad made in building the city of Medina. How is it relevant to our lives today? The answer is, the changes made by Prophet Muhammad in building in the city of Medina so that the people of Medina live safely and peacefully are: 1. Prophet Muhammad built a mosque that was used as the center of all activities in Medina. The mosque is called Nabawi Mosque. The mosque has a building made of brick, a roof made of palm leaves, pillars made of dead palm trunks, and a floor made of gravel and sand. The mosque is useful for worshiping Allah, teaching Islamic things, education, formulating war strategies, and carrying out political activities. 2. Prophet Muhammad built a brotherhood among Muslims, as known as Ukhuwah Islamiyah. The Messenger of Allah broke brotherhood between the Muhajirin, who were immigrants from Mecca, and the Ansar, who were residents of Medina. Thus, it can strengthen solidarity and social cohesiveness among Muslims. And the last but not least, Prophet Muhammad built brotherhood with people of other religion as known as Ukhuwah Insaniyah. The city of Medina has adherents of various religions. There are Muslims, Christians, Jews, and others. Therefore, Prophet Muhammad made the Medina Charter unite the people of Medina and became the basis of the first constitution. Based on these efforts, its relevance to live at this time is that we must make Prophet Muhammad an example of life, because to build the city of Medina, the Prophet tried to unite differences with high tolerance. This can be applied in today's life so that there are no divisions between religious communities, and Indonesia, as a country that has various ethnicities, races, cultures, and languages, can unite without anyone breaking each other. 3. What is the Medina Charter? Explain the most important contents of the Medina Charter, what was behind the emergence of the Medina Charter, and how relevant the Medina Charter is in the context of human life today. The answer is, the Medina Charter is an agreement between the various tribes, races, and religion in Medina. The agreement was made by Prophet Muhammad in 622 AD. The background for making the Medina Charter was that before moving to Medina, there were two large tribes. The two tribes were the Aus tribe, with their Jewish allies, the Bani Qurayza, and the Khazraj tribe, with their Jewish allies, the Bani Nadir. The two tribes have been at war for 120 years. As a result, there have been four major wars, namely the Sumir War, the Kap War, the Hatip War, and the Bu'ats War, which resulted in many casualties. Therefore, the tribal leaders in Medina needed the Prophet Muhammad to resolve the dispute between the two tribes. This happened because the Prophet Muhammad was known to be honest and fair. Furthermore, in 622 AD, the Prophet Muhammad met and agreed people of Medina who had agreed backgrounds under the name of the Medina Charter. The Medina Charter has 47 articles that regulate the political system, security, religious freedom, equality before the law, peace, and defense. In my opinion, the relevance between the Medina Charter and human life at this time is that it has the same goal, namely to maintain unity and harmony between religious communities and to be able to solve problems in a way that doesn't cause war. 4. Tell us some evidence about the Islamic civilization, prosperity, and why did it collapse then? What are the factors that led to the collapse of Islamic civilization? What should Muslims do at this time so that Islamic civilization can rise again? The answer is, the most successful Islamic civilization was led by the Abbasid dynasty. The Abbasid ruled from 750 AD to 1258 AD. The Abbasids came to power after they succeeded in seizing power from the Umayyads. The Abbasids reached their peak of glory during the reign of Sultan Harun al-Rashid and his son al-Ma'mun. At the time of Harun al-Rashid, Baghdad began to become the center of world civilization with an extraordinary level of prosperity and international role, while scientific progress in Baghdad reached its peak at Al-Ma'mun, with the establishment of Baitul Hikmah as a center for libraries and scientific studies. Evidence of the triumph of Islamic civilization in the Abbasid dynasty are 1. Socio-cultural field. In the socio-cultural field, the Abbasid dynasty had progressed in the architecture of building, palaces, and mosques. For example, the palace of Khosrul Zahabi and the city of Baghdad. In the civilization appeared many writers such as Abu Nawas, Abu Athaillah, and others. There are also figures in the field of music, namely Yunus bin Sulaiman and Al-Farabi. 2. Political and military sector. In the political and military sector, the Abbasid dynasty established a department of defense and security which was named Diwanul Jundi. 3. Field of science. In the field of science, the Abbasids established a library center in the reign of Al-Ma'mun. In the civilization, many facilities were established for educational activities. From there came advance in earth science, astronomy, medicine, and others. Famous scientists during the Abbasid dynasty were Ibn Sina, Al-Razi, Al-Khwarizmi, and others. 4. Field of Islamic studies. In the field of Islamic studies, many scholars want to develop knowledge and advance Islamic civilization. The sciences of the Islamic religion that are developing are the science of hadith, the science of interpretation, the science of fiqh, and tasawwuf. The famous scholars of this era are Imam Abu Hanifah, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Muslim, and others. The Abbasid civilization experienced a decline due to several factors, namely 1. The struggle for power. This factor was caused by the government of the Abbasid who were less strict, thus opening the way for the slave soldiers and the Bani Buwai to have the initiative to take power. This can happen because of the emergence of many small dynasties far from the center of the Abbasid government. In addition, many small dynasties want to separate themselves from the Abbasid dynasty because of the difficulty of communication between the center of government and distant regions. 2. Competition between nations. This factor was caused by the Persians who were dissatisfied with the rule of the Abbasids, so they want to have their dynasty. At the same time, Arab thinks that they're more special than non-Arabs. Therefore, dynasties emerged that want to break away from the Abbasids, such as the Persian, Turks, and Kurds. 3. Economic downturn. This factor was caused by declining economic income. This can happen because the lifestyle of the Abbasid Khalifa was very luxurious. In addition, the crusade that lasted for several periods claimed many victims, causing considerable material losses. 4. Mongol Attack. This factor was caused by the Mongols led by Hulagu Khan, who succeeded in destroying the city of Baghdad, which was the center of government and education of the Abbasid. The Mongols succeeded in destroying the facilities of the city of Baghdad, killing thousands of Baghdad Muslims and burning the city of Baghdad. As Muslims, we must fight so that Islamic civilization can rise again. The way that we can do this are 1. Purify the faith, 2. Westernization, 3. Return to true teachings and avoid false teaching, 4. Undergo quality education, 5. Avoid divisions, 6. Mastering the science, technology, and education information, and the last but not least is Muslims must unite. 5. What lessons can you take from the history of Islamic civilization? What attitude should we take to overcome the differences of opinion in the history of Islamic civilization? The answer is, the lesson that can be drawn from the history of Islamic civilization is that the history of Islam certainly has a good side and a bad side, but it's not all bad, so we must be able to take lesson from the good side and then the bad side. Because maybe we can analyze the bad side so that we don't repeat the same mistake. According to Imam Shafi'i, as a Muslim, we must understand and respect the opinions of others, because Islam respects differences. This is to the opinion of Imam Shafi'i, namely, my opinion is right, but it may contain an error, and the opinion of other is wrong, but it still contains a truth. That's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you guys.